Hey guys, welcome to this new video on Spark. In the last video, we saw about data frames in Spark using PySpark. So in this video, we will be seeing how you can use the Scala API to work on data frames and data sets in Spark programming. For the sake of this video, we'll be working in the Scala shell on Jupyter Notebook environment. So I will show you how you can work with Scala first of all in Jupyter Notebook, and then we'll see about data frames and data set. So firstly, open your command prompt. Right click, run as administrator, and then you need to install a few packages, that is Scala package in your system if you want to work with Scala. So here I have noted the command. First you need to install this spylon kernel. So just copy this command one by one and paste it here and press enter. So this, first of all, this spylon kernel, which is a Scala Python kernel, will get installed in your system so that you can work on Jupyter Notebooks using Scala. And then you call this python -m spylon kernel install so that you can start working with Jupyter Notebooks. And once this is done, you can open your ipynb file. So let's open this ipynb file notebook from your prompt. So let's paste it, let's open it. So I had already installed the previous two steps, so I don't need to do it again, but you need to do it if you want to work with Scala and Jupyter Notebook environment. So now if you open any file and you press on this new option, so you get three options here with Python, and I already have Julia and Python installed, but beside that you also get this spylon kernel with which you can work with Scala in your Jupyter Notebooks. So if you click on this spylon kernel, so a new notebook will get open, and to check whether Scala is working on it, so let's give some Scala command like println. So it is showing initializing Scala interpreter. So you can see that you get the output on the console, hello, I am Scala. That means your Scala programs can now run pretty well on your Jupyter Notebook environment. So let's see about data frames and data set in Jupyter Notebook in Scala. So I have already created a file for you in Scala to work on data frames and data sets. So let's open it. So firstly, we will try to generate a data frame from an RDD in Scala. So you need to import this random module because we will be using this random module in the map function in this example. So we have a value called as RDD. This is one variable that I have declared, and using the Spark context, using the parallelize function, we will be converting this RDD from 1 to 10. We map it inside this using the random function next int, and then 100 multiplied by x. So once this RDD is created, we will be converting this RDD using this 2df, that is a method to convert a RDD to data frame based on this key and value pair. Let's print it. So again it will show you initializing Scala interpreter because we have opened a new notebook. The reason I choose to work on Jupyter Notebooks is because that Jupyter Notebooks are pretty easy to work on. They are like very user friendly. So instead of opening Scala shell in your command prompt directly, you can choose to work on Jupyter Notebooks. It will be much better. So we have like declared the data frame. So now let's try to check the schema of the data frame to check for the structure. So this is the structure. It has two columns, that is key and value. So let's use the show method on this data frame. So now this is the key value pair that we get. So on this show method, if you want to limit the size of your records, so you can also do that by giving the number to this show method. So it only prints first 5 records. So now next is that we have an RDD which is of arrays of rows. So for that you need to import this Spark SQL rows module from the org.apache.spark.sql.types. So what we will be doing in this case is that firstly we will be having rows of this ID, then name and age. Have two rows, such kind of rows, and we define a schema using a variable called a schema, and from this structure type class we import this array, and we ourselves declare the structure type of each and every field. For ID, like I have declared long type. For name, I have declared string type. For age, I have declared long type again, and everything is equal to true. And in this people df, people data frame, we again use this spark session, and we use this create data frame method on this people RDD that we have declared here, and the schema that we have created by ourselves. So this is created. Now let's check for the schema of the same. So we get here, we have three columns, ID, name and age, and this is the type of all three. So let's use the show method to see it in the form of data frame. So this is my data frame with column ID, column name and column age. So next example, we will check to make a Spark data frame using the range function. So on this Spark session, we call the range function. In this range function, I have passed 5 here, and we convert it to a data frame using 2df method to number and show, and we save it inside this value called as df1. So you can see here, this is how this thing will look. Next is to convert a sequence of key value to a Spark data frame. So here I have a sequence of movies with the actor name is movie and the year of launch in the form of Scala sequence, and which is stored in this variable called as movies. Using the 2df, again just give the name of the columns that you want to save. We can convert it to a data frame. So this is done. Let's check the schema of the same, and let's check the data frame. So this is how the data frame will look. Now the next part is to initialize the data frame reader and to read a CSV file from my local PC. You can read any kind of file that you want, like Excel files, text files, JSON file, then Parquet files, etc, etc. All are supported in Spark using Scala. So here we have this variable called as df, and using the spark.read reader, in the options I have passed header is equal to true. That means the first record will be considered as column names. Then in the option I have also written infer schema is equal to true. That means the structure of the data frame will be decided by Spark itself, and this is the location where this file has been located. So this file is on my desktop, and it is a file of stocks of a company. So let's print the schema after reading. So now our schema of the file is such that we have this column name, symbol, series, open, high, low, close, last, previous close, total, distributed quantity, total, traded quantity, timestamp, etc. So let's count the number of records that are stored in my file, CSV file. So this is the number of records that are stored in my CSV file. Let's check for the column names. So here we get the column names in the form of an Scala array. These are the column names. Let's check the type of the column names. So this is the type of each and every column name of my CSV file. So once that is captured in object like df, so you can use SQL like function using functional programming. There are pretty many functions available. I will be showing a few in this video, like select you can use. We select particular rows and you use the show method to convert it to a data frame. So you can view it in the form of a data frame here. So only 4 fields were selected from the entire this many number of columns. Then you can use the filter function. Here I have given a condition where filter high is equal to greater than 2000. So we get a data frame where all the records have this value which is greater than 20,000. Same thing can be done using the df.where. So you can see in the where condition I have given high is less than 2000. So all the records belonging to high less than 2000 are shown in the data frame. Next is the describe function. So using the describe function, you can get basic statistics like count, minimum, then standard deviation, minimum and maximum and mean of the columns that you select in the form of a data frame using this show method. Lastly, if you want to properly perform SQL statements on your data frame that is captured in the Spark session, so you need to create a view of your data frame first of all. So I have created a temporary view here using the create or replace temp view function, and I have named it as stocks. So let's run this thing. So now your temporary view stock is created, and now you can properly query using the proper SQL syntax, Spark SQL function, and using the show part you can print it in the form of a data frame. So you can see here, using proper SQL you are now getting a Spark data frame with various conditions. So let's check for the Pearson correlation between two fields of the same view that we have created above. So we get the Pearson correlation coefficient. And the last part that I wanted to show you in this Scala data frame datasets tutorial is that how you can store a data frame with certain condition to a CSV file. So you can save it in any format that you want. By I mostly use CSV files. So let's save it in CSV file format. So what I have done is that I've declared a variable called as a, and then using the spark.sql we select a query with certain conditions, and then on the same a object we call the write function. On that function we write the format of the type of the output, that is CSV. The option here shows that it should be a comma separated file and it should be saved at this location. So the name of the folder is data frame to CSV. So let's run this thing. So once you run this thing, you need to search for this name on your desktop. So let's find out. So I have got a folder here, and if you open this folder you will see all your output files in the form of part files here. So this is the advantage of Spark. You get the output in the form of part files, so that your reading part in Spark and also the writing part in Spark is very fast, even if your data is in a very huge quantity. So this is the advantage of Spark over other APIs like Pandas and Scikit-learn, so that the processing in Spark is much more faster. So I hope that all the things that I have shown in this video are clear to you, from starting from how you can use Scala in your Jupyter notebooks, and how you can perform some basic task on your data frames and data sets on in a Scala environment in Spark. So if you still have any doubts regarding any of this part that I have shown in this video, feel free to write in the comment section below. I will definitely try to reply to them. I will leave this Jupyter notebook as a GitHub link below. Till then, if you like my work, please do hit the like, share and subscribe button.